the past couple of years, it feels like I have been the queen of losing my job over and over and over again. There were some parts where losing my job brought me absolutely into tears, whereas some just made me feel like I was questioning life. And then there were other times where I just felt like giving up of working a 9 to 5. If you're somebody like me who has lost their job over and over again, whether you've been laid off a ton or you've been let go or whatever reason it is, no, you're not alone, because I'm here to just talk about what it's like to constantly in the position to lose your job over and over again. My role as a recruiter is very unstable, especially in this market, because recruiters are always the first to go in layoffs. I just felt like I wanted to talk about this. And if you're unemployed just like me, just trying to figure it out, make sure you join us at the Kitten Squad and subscribe down below. I'd love to have you here. So let's get into it. I've always hated the never-ending cycle of losing a job. It can feel really demoralizing and very exhausting, because at the end of the day, a lot of it hasn't necessarily been on me, because layoffs are beyond my control. People like to say it's for performance, and it's really not that. I've heard rumors that sometimes it can be last in, first out. There are just so many different variety of things, and you'll never get your clarity on why you get laid off from a company. But I wanted to just share the feelings of what it's like to go through losing your job. Back in 2020, I made a whole video where I broke down in front of a camera about how I lost my job, how it was going to cause me to leave San Francisco, and I was distraught about it. And over time, I've learned to manage my emotions a little bit better, but also at the same time recognize that it's okay to be sad about losing a job, especially if it's going to cause you to uproot a wonderful life that you've built for yourself in the city that your job was in. I've learned so much along the way with these past few years with having a lot of job instability, and it's not a good feeling, but I wanted to share kind of the emotions that I've been going through, and then just share a couple of tips that I think can really help you get through it. If you ever lose a job, I think one of the first things you have to do is to not immediately jump into updating your resume. Trust me, you will eventually have to do that, but it's really important that you take some time to process your emotions with how the job loss makes you feel. If you need to cry about it, cry about it. If you need to be angry. There are so many ways to process your emotions, and I really encourage you to process your emotions and to take care of yourself first. I personally don't think it's healthy to jump right back into the job search and to start updating your resume immediately. I don't think you're going to be in the right mindset to do that. So I just think it's really important that you take a step back, maybe give yourself a week off to process, or give yourself a couple of days to process, but do not just jump into the job search the second you get the news. I mean, some people may do that. Like I said, I personally don't recommend it, but you do you. You don't need to listen to me. That's just like one of the first things that I always recommend is like process those emotions. Because there's a lot going on when you find out the news that you've lost probably your main source of income. And right now I can tell you the job market is terrible. I lost my job at a horrible time where the market is at its absolute worst, and it feels like nobody is hiring a recruiter right now. And I'm also competing with all of the recruiters that got laid off over the past year, and a lot of them still have not found work because the demand for us is so low, but the competition is so high. It took me a month and a half to get back to my job search. I knew that I wanted to take a nice vacation because I was still getting paid by my company due to the Warren Act. So I was able to afford a trip to the Middle East back in February and early March. And so when I got back from that trip a week after, that's when I said, okay, now I'm ready to apply to a job. So take the time that you need to process your emotions, shift into a better mindset before you go and update your resume. And once you are in a good mindset, then you can update your resume. I think that's really important. I always tell people as a recruiter, make sure your resume is more accomplished based and it really highlights your skill set as opposed to making it task oriented, because that's what's going to make you stand out more to other recruiters who are reading your resumes after you submit them. So that's something that you can consider when updating your resume. While you have some free time on your hands, one thing that I recommend is to do some reflecting on what you want. I think the period of unemployment, or fun employment as I like to call it, is a good time to really reflect on like what your next steps are going to be. I'm still really reflecting on my next steps. I need another job because this isn't enough for me to get by full time, even though I would love to be a full-time content creator more than anything in the world. I am just slowly applying to jobs that I believe are a good fit for me, but I am possibly considering doing some other work right now. I do have a part-time job that does keep me busy, so you could consider looking for some part-time work, an alternative rock radio station. That would be so awesome. I feel like you still need experience to be an on-air personality, but that would be like a cool job that I think would be worth leaving my house for. But think about if you want to make a career change right now. Think about what are some other things you can do right now, especially if you have a job like mine that's in such little demand at the moment and you know the competition is high, which is going to make your job search even harder. This is a really good time to reflect and think about what are my next steps, because this is a good time to do that. Other feelings that I've always experienced when it comes to losing my job is that feeling of disappointment and the uncertainty. Because I don't know how long I'm going to be unemployed for. The longest I've ever been unemployed was around 5 months, and I think I'm going on 6 months now, which is now officially the longest time that I've been unemployed for, and that's really, really scary. The longest I've been unemployed is currently 6 months. It is definitely terrifying, and despite the fact that I do have a part-time job, it's the longest that I've been without a full-time job, and my part-time job still isn't enough for me to get by, which is why I still get partial benefits with the unemployment agency in Oregon. So that does help me a little bit, but that's not gonna last forever. It's very scary when you deal with that uncertainty, wondering when are you gonna get a new job again? How long are you gonna have to keep living off unemployment or other part-time work? How long is it gonna take? When will this period end? It's awful. It's truly awful. And also when you're constantly getting rejected from tons of positions that you know you're qualified for or you believe you're qualified for, that also leads to more feelings of disappointment when you can't even get an interview. That's something that I'm currently experiencing right now, and it absolutely sucks. And I think the main thing, which I've just touched on, is the feelings of financial insecurity and instability. Wondering how long can I pay my bills and rent for? How long will it be until I run out of my unemployment? What happens when I run out of my unemployment and I still haven't gotten a job, even though I'm applying and I'm networking and doing all of this? I'm doing all the right things. It's exhausting. I hate that I've been in this cycle over and over again. And as I've mentioned, it makes me want to no longer have a 9-to-5 job just because I'm just tired of the constant instability. Personally, I think there's no such thing as job security. I think that is a lie that we have been told throughout the time. And I'm here to say that you should never feel safe in your job. Even if you worked at your company for 10 years, you should never feel safe, because I've seen people on LinkedIn who have lost their job after being so loyal to a company for 10 years and performing really well, only to get sucked into the layoffs. And that really sucks. It's a very frustrating feeling. It makes you question everything. It can make you feel really insecure. It makes you feel, why me? Why did I have to lose my job? It's very scary. I'm really tired of feeling financially insecure, and I'm trying to do everything in my power to get out of this, because one day I would love to be 100% debt free. I would absolutely love to have money in my savings account and to finally feel like I'm good with my money again, because I'm not good with my money. And a lot of the fact has had to do with jobs being so unstable for me financially. And I've been trying everything I can to get my salary to higher where I want it to be, and also to just be able to last at a company for a long time. And I haven't been able to do that, and it freaking sucks. So overall, those are like all the feelings that I've had to experience when it comes to dealing with my job losses over and over again. Back in 2020, I did make a video on what it's like to deal with unemployment, and I wanted to kind of give you a couple more tips if you are dealing with unemployment and job loss right now. I think one thing that is really helpful is to talk to other people who are currently experiencing the same thing that you are. I think LinkedIn's a really great place to vent about your frustrations, to also announce that you've been impacted by a layoff or if you've recently lost your job in any other way. And there will be people out there who will be supportive and are willing to discuss it with you because so many people have lost their jobs over the past couple of years, especially if they're in tech. Layoffs have been huge. And I just want you to know that you're really not alone. And so it's really nice to bond with people who are currently going through the same thing that you are. I absolutely love LinkedIn. I've built a lot of great relationships on the internet because of it. And I've been able to really expand my network because of it. When you can build that kind of community on LinkedIn just by creating simple posts on your feelings, it's a lot more powerful than you think. So definitely take advantage of LinkedIn and putting yourself out there. The last thing is to just not give up. All the rejections that you're getting from jobs is just a sign of redirection, and it's just a sign that that wasn't meant for you. I think it's really important to practice a lot of self-compassion and self-care. Do whatever you need to do to make yourself feel better and to really take care of yourself, whether it's exercising, going for a walk, meditating, seeing friends, whatever it is you need to do. I definitely think that being too hard on yourself is definitely not going to make this any easier on you. So it's important that you simply be kind to yourself during this time. I know it's a huge period of feeling discouragement and disappointment, but I want you to know that unemployment is temporary. You're not going to be unemployed forever, and I just want you to remember that. It may take some time to get back on your feet, but just remind yourself that this isn't going to last forever. Yeah, I mean, those are kind of my thoughts and feelings, John, just like how it's been for me lately. I mean, at this point, I've sadly gotten used to it, and I'm not proud to say that, but I wanted to share my perspective in hopes that it can help you, and maybe that you can relate to the feelings of losing your job over and over again and just the toll that it takes on you mentally and emotionally. If it did help you, let me know, and also give this video a thumbs up. And I hope that we all find new jobs very soon that bring us joy and lots of financial wealth. And with that, I will see you in my next video. Bye!